Free Khalil. Free Khalil. Free Khalil. Free Khalil. Free Khalil.
We give out flyers every week at Yale New Haven Hospital. How you doing, man?
How are you? Good.
Not for mass deportation.
Not another nickel, not another dime. No more money for Israel's crimes.
Not another nickel, not another dime. No more money for Israel's crimes.
It's not going to get any easier when you put your head down. We know that they're trying to target one group at a time, and they're trying to create the idea in our head that this is happening to somebody else. But if anything of the last year has reminded us, it is that struggle has never been on a national basis. It's never been on a local basis. If you want to talk about any struggle, if you want to talk about the struggle against racism, if you want to look at the history of that struggle, slavery in this country, the slavers were terrified of slave revolts around the Caribbean. They were terrified of the Haitian Revolution and the example it would give. And the leaders of the movement against slavery studied those revolts. They took inspiration, they took strength, and they fought back because they knew they were part of an international struggle. And in the midst of the Civil War, upon which the slavery hung in the balance, workers in other countries, specifically England, sacrificed their own material interests to oppose slavery, to support the blockade against the American South that supplied their mills with cotton, that supplied their livelihood. When they went to work, they depended upon cotton from the American South. And they said, we want this embargo to continue, even if it means our own immiseration, because we know that the end of slavery in the United States is a victory for us. If you look at the civil rights movement, if you look at any speech by any significant leader, if you want to look at Letter from a Birmingham Jail by Martin Luther King, you can very plainly see the inspiration and the example of anti-colonial struggles throughout Africa, and the meaning that that had in the United States, and the degree to which the United States ruling class felt pressured by the fact that people were gaining rights in African countries like Nigeria and the Congo that were not yet afforded to American citizens. Palestinians have reminded us of this fact. And that is why, when the Trump administration wanted to make an example, they went after Palestinians. Not because this is the weakest community in this country, but because this is the community in this country which shows us our power. Because they want us to run from the international struggle. We owe a great debt of thanks to the Palestinian people in this country and around the world. The U.S. and Israel dropped the equivalent of 5 atomic bombs on Gaza. And the people of Gaza picked themselves back up and walked home. And they said, we are not cowed. If we have a tenth of their courage, we can beat this. This attack, I want you to consider, I'm a teacher, 1/4 of kids in the United States live with at least one parent from another country. This is an attack on them. 1/6 of people living in this country come from another country, whether they've got permanent status, visa, paperless, whatever it is, 1/6. That's our workplaces, that's our communities, that's our families. If we want to organize, if we want to fight for better wages, if we want to fight against inflation, if we want to fight to defend Social Security, Medicaid, food stamps, this attack must not be allowed to stand. One other place, before I'm done here, one other place you can see how the struggle is international. The law that they are using to threaten students with deportation for their political ideas was passed in 1952 to prevent Jewish Holocaust refugees from coming into this country under the guise that they were a threat to national security because maybe they were socialists. If you think for a moment this is about defending Jewish people, you've got your head on wrong. These people, Musk and Trump. Musk supports people who say Jews will not replace us. Musk is giving us Nazi salutes. These people do not like Jews. They want Jews like myself to shut up and get in the barricades for them, to kill for them and die for them. That's all they care about us. And use us as a pretext to oppress other people. They are not the allies of Jewish people. The best ally the Jewish people have today is the Palestinians. And anyone who's concerned with the very real growth of a far-right movement that is concerned with spreading Jewish conspiracy theories, your main task right now is to defend Mahmoud Khalil. Free, free Khalil! Free Khalil! Free, free Khalil! Free Khalil! Free, free Khalil! Okay, and with that, I am very proud to introduce Erna from We Will Return, an alum of UConn SJP, who is going to speak next. Thank you, Erna.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. As we stand here waiting the release of Mahmoud Khalil from the shackles of the genocidal empire, we must not waver in our fight for justice against this repressive dictatorship that has plagued our population and continues to intimidate us. And we will not be intimidated. Colombia's complicity in genocide and destruction of their students' livelihoods and freedom mirrors the genocidal University of Connecticut as well. UConn has been terrorizing Palestinian and Muslim students and our groups for ages with the support of the state. Shutting down our events and speakers, ignoring our demands for divestment from a multi-million-dollar investments in genocide, and arresting our students because they dared to speak out and protest against children and families being murdered. UConn's Islamophobic President Radenka Merrick still sits in her office signing away on the contracts that enabled the destruction of our Muslim community here. She calls the violent police on our students who have been coming together in solidarity from all backgrounds to peacefully protest, yet allows Iowa soldiers who have committed crimes of apartheid to stroll the university campus. We are the ones having pamphlets being passed around calling us terrorists. We are the ones getting deported. And Zionists like her and the rest of them complain about feeling unsafe. Who is really unsafe here? Last week we came together to call out the idiotic weaponization of hate crimes and the so-called increase of campus safety. They can lie all they want about their intentions for that bill, but we know very well that it means to censor our speech, and that we've seen the truth as we have seen with Mahmoud Khalil's arrest. We need to call them out for enabling the dangerous anti-Muslim, anti-Palestinian rhetoric for the past 15 months of this genocide. They are the ones committing hate crimes against our people and have allowed fascism to unfold in this country. UConn, Connecticut, this country, Democrats, Republicans, all have contributed to this. The eradication of Palestinians not only in Palestine, but here as well. So down with ICE, down with borders, down with the US empire. We can't stop here. We have to show up every single time ICE takes one of our own. We have to show up every single day when we see someone getting deported by this genocidal regime. We have to show up every single day. And we will speak the truth and continue to speak the truth. They will not hinder on our abilities to organize, mobilize, and dismantle the Zionist occupation and US empire. If they come at us with violence, we will meet them with it as well. We will defend our rights and fight for justice till our last breath. Thank you.
No peace.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
I should mention, by the way, my name is Dan Piper. I'm with the Connecticut Labor for Palestine. We're a group that just started a little while ago. We want to bring the labor movement into the Palestine Solidarity Movement and the Palestine Solidarity Movement into the labor movement. Because working people here have no interest in the wars of our bosses.
That's right.
If you want to get involved, please sign up. You've hopefully got a flyer. We are having a meeting on Sunday, an emergency meeting at 11 a.m. at the Four Seas Union Hall. Brett's got them over here.
I have one left. Make sure you take a picture, please.
Okay, so we have more people than flyers. That's a good problem. It's a union. It's on Weathersfield Avenue. You can get the 907 Weathersfield Avenue, second floor. Fact of the matter is, this rally here is organized, first off, to stop U.S. aid to Israel and for a just transition. But at the same time, there are many more people who understand that what is happening to Khalil is an existential threat, who do not yet understand everything about Palestine yet. Here's the fact. Trump administration and his allies are hoping that every time they repress us, our numbers we're going to get isolated, we're going to lose friends, and so on and so forth. Our job is to use every act of repression as an opportunity to build and grow our movement.
Yes.
And we are going to use this opportunity that they have handed to us to reach out to new friends who don't yet understand Palestine but do understand free speech. Yes. And they are going to reap the whirlwind. And that is what the meeting on Sunday is about. And when we win our right to free speech, when we defend our right to free speech, we will end up with a much, much larger movement to defend Palestine. So please come out on Sunday, 11 a.m. And I would like to call up next Ada, who organized the February 24th demonstrations at Wesleyan, UMass, and throughout the Northeast. And I think, yeah, it's quite an example, and I'm looking forward to hearing her remarks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I used to shy away from public speaking, working better behind the curtains. That's what us international students tend to do. I've heard from so many of my friends, I can make a poster but not organize. I can organize but not come to the protest. I can come to the protest but I cannot speak. I'm scared, I probably shouldn't get too involved. I've been working my back off behind those curtains, putting together the 224 coalition of 15 universities for one unified protest. With so many diverse institutions, organizations, and individuals that to most it seemed like a pipe dream. Not everything turned out perfect, but we students made it happen.
Yes.
When I watched the protest at Wesleyan unfold in front of me, I was overtaken with pride for what we've managed to accomplish when standing together. But I also knew that for all the activists that I've interacted with, there were hundreds more people outside of our circle who had no idea I had anything to do with this, because I too had a fear of repercussions that were yet to come. Now more than ever, we seem to have a reason to be afraid, a reason for anonymity. We learned how the FBI has been involved at the Yale's encampment in tracking student social media accounts, using aerial drones, installing security cameras, and searching a student's apartment. The Bowdoin encampment this February was forced to shut down after less than a week by its hostile university administration, with 8 students still facing suspension. Just last week, Barnard College, in response to a peaceful sit-in in an academic building, deployed NYPD forces who brutalized the student protesters, including sending one person to the hospital after police had stomped on their chest.
Shame! Shame!
Criminal.
A Democratic state senator, Matthew Lesser, is trying to push for a bill in the CT General Assembly, SB 980, that in the guise of extra bias training and reporting will bring police to every campus in the state. It will make all of us, but especially the most vulnerable of us, like the immigrant and Bible community, less safe, targeting pro-Palestinian activists for the so-called anti-Semitism, and suppressing academic freedom and speech. Trump's January executive order and fact sheet gave government agencies 60 days for producing reports on complaints involving anti-Semitism on college campuses and requested universities to monitor and report on their own international students and staff for possible deportation, aiming to deport everyone who joined pro-Palestinian protests. We cannot rely on our universities to keep us safe. We cannot rely on this government and elected officials, and we sure as fuck cannot rely on public safety and police. Mahmoud Khalil has been putting himself out there, day in, day out, serving as a lead negotiator during the encampment at Columbia last spring, appearing in media interviews and press conferences, opposing the Israeli genocide and Columbia's complicity in it. He was abducted and detained from his university housing in front of his pregnant wife without a warrant, without due process, on a green card, after Columbia had advised their staff not to interfere with ICE.
Free Khalil! Free, free Khalil!
Free Khalil!
Free, free Khalil!
But exactly, we should not mourn for Khalil. We should scream his name at rallies. We should sign the petition for his release. We should call and email your elected officials to demand they take action in protecting student activists and immigrants. You should donate money if you can to Khalil's legal defense and family support. And then be ready to organize for and support all the immigrant and vulnerable folks in your communities. Yeah, because this is no longer a what if, this is a when. And when Wesleyan's turn comes, and when Yukon's turn comes, when Yale's turn comes, will we have each other's backs? Will we keep each other safe and fight back?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Or will we scamper around giving to Trump's reign of terror?
No!
They think they can bombard us with those bills, executive orders, new crimes, and power grabs until we have no capacity to respond, but we will always respond. 120 people showed up to testify against SB 980.
Yes!
Over 1 million people signed the petition for Mahmoud Khalil. They can try to deport every single one of us, but for each one they deport, 1,000 more will rally. Now is not the time to stand behind the curtains or withdraw completely. Now is the time to fight for free Palestine, leaving no one behind. Thank you.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine! Free Khalil! Free, free Khalil! Free Khalil! Free, free Khalil! Hands up our students! Hands up our students! Hands up
Our students!
Hands up
Our students!
Hands up
Our students!
Thank you, Ada. And next I'd like to call up Stan Heller of the Middle East Crisis Committee, who's been doing this pretty much as long as I've been alive.
Oh, and AFT.
I was reading the tweet of that notorious Tesla car, the tweet of that notorious Tesla car salesman, Donald Trump. And he said he was going to go after the radical, foreign, pro-Hamas students, the pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, anti-American activity, blah, 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 blah. Now, this is right out of the right-wing playbook. It's been going on for all the decades that I've been doing activism. That guy is pro-Arab. He's pro-Palestinian. She's pro-PLO. The same old garbage. Now, I wanted to be fair, so I went on Twitter to see what was the case against Mahmoud Khalil. So I held my nose and read a full thread by one Eitan Fishberger, former sergeant in the Israeli military, who promised to spill all the beans. And he had pictures of him at rallies, and pictures of him talking to the press, And the comment was, Hamas supporter, pro-Hamas, agitator, Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. I don't see Khalil mentioning Hamas at any time. I don't see him saying anything about Jews. He calls for boycott. He calls for Colombia to dump its investments in Israel. All worthy goals. I can imagine this guy Fishberger tweeting in 1773 at the time of the Boston Tea Party, OMG, they occupied the ship illegally. They dumped thousands of dollars of tea into the harbor. That's grand theft. They are pro-independence, pro-John Hancock, pro-Sons of Liberty, and anti-monarchy. So glad they arrested that agitator, Sam Adams. From what I can see, Mahmoud Khalil is anti-genocide, and that's a fine thing to be. They cry anti-Semitism, and I despise people who collaborate with anti-Semites. So naturally, I despise Elon Musk and for all he's doing, and despise the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, for excusing his awkward gesture. Simone Zimmerman's a real cool person. She works with If Not Now, that Jewish group. Here's 2 sentences from her. Never forget when the American Gestapo arrived to university campuses to disappear student activists. The ADL was in the front row cheering them on, all in the name of fighting anti-Semitism. These Nazi collaborators are a disgrace to Jewish history and a danger to us all. Now, Dan left out of the introduction that I'm a former teacher, I'm a present member of the American Federation of Teachers, been doing that for 50 years. I want to talk about my money, my pension money. My pension money, they took out every 2 weeks, they took out a section to go to the state treasury's office, and the treasurer is, I don't know, a couple blocks over, and all that money has been sitting there. Now, they invest that. Now, some of my money, and a lot of other teachers' money, and state employee money, and municipal worker money, is invested in Israel to the tune of $110 million, including $1 million in Elbit. Now that's a good interjection. Could you hold that sign up there? Connecticut Treasury money helped make the drones that killed the World Central Kitchen workers sell off Elbit and all the Israeli investments. It's no lie. Elbit is Israel's biggest arms manufacturer, and this state, you know, the Treasury is barred by law from investing in any gun makers. You know, if they're Remington or whatever, they can't do that because of our painful history with, you know, gun massacres. But this is even a little bigger, and there's no compunctions about investing in Elbit, and that is really wrong. And I think that should change. Yeah. So let me end with one of my favorite slogans: not another nickel, not another dime, no more money for Israel's crimes. Not another nickel, not another dime, no more money for Israel's crimes. Thank you.
Yes. Take a stand. And next up, we have Audra from the AAUP and Connecticut Labor for Palestine.
Hello. I'm nervous, so bear with me. So my name's Audra. I am an associate professor of philosophy at Central Connecticut State University, and also a proud member of CSU AAUP and Connecticut Labor for Palestine. And you can tell I'm old school because I got paper instead of my phone. So today we gather not just in solidarity with Palestine, but in defense of our fundamental rights as students, as faculty, as union members, and as human beings. We are here to condemn the warrantless arrest and abduction of Mahmoud Khalil and the dangerous precedent sets for all of us who dare to speak truth to power. Mahmoud Khalil, a green card holder and a vocal advocate for Palestinian liberation, was abducted by federal agents and now faces possible deportation. His crime? Speaking out against injustice, organizing for freedom, and demanding accountability. This is not just an attack on Mahmoud, it is an attack on the First Amendment, on academic freedom, and on the very principles of democracy that this country loves to claim to uphold. Let's be clear, this is not an isolated incident. It is part of a broader pattern of oppression that echoes the darkest chapters of US history. The McCarthy era and the Red Scare sought to silence dissent by branding activists as, quote, threats to national security. Today we see the same tactics being used to target those who stand with Palestine. And the message seems clear, right? Those who stand out and speak out against Israel's apartheid regime, those who challenge US imperialism, those who demand justice for the oppressed, you will be punished. This is designed to instill fear in all of us. But let's talk about who this us really is. Did you know that nearly 11.5 million people in the United States are legal permanent residents? They hold green cards. Another 1.9 million people in the US have temporary visas. So we're talking 13.5 million people, at least, who have to now live in fear that a single social media post, a single rally, a single act of solidarity will mean arrest, detention, and deportation. And that's not even forgetting the undocumented folks who are here just trying to survive and live a better life than they could where they came from, usually because we made their country messed up in the first place. What does it mean for our communities when so many people are silent or are afraid to speak the truth? Well, it means silence and complicity, and what it means is they're trying to erode our collective power, because that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of us together, because that's when we have the power, right? We have the power when we all join together across our many movements, across our many identities, across our many unions and campuses, across all areas of life. When we stand together, they have no option, right? And that's what they're afraid of. So they weaponize everything in the effort to make us so scared that we won't talk, and we are saying we will still talk, right? We will still talk. Those of us especially who have the privilege of being citizens here can stand up, and those of us especially, like me, who have tenure at universities, will stand up, will speak out, will not stop, right? We will not stop. So here's the thing. What do we do now? First, we keep organizing. We build coalitions across our campuses, across our unions, and across our movements. We protect each other, we show up for each other, we stand up for each other. Second, we educate. We expose the lies and the propaganda that justify these attacks. We make it clear that standing with Palestine, it's not a crime, it's a moral imperative. Right? We make it clear that this is what humanity requires. It's not that I'm wrong or I'm anti-Semitic for standing with Palestine. It means I'm human. It means I have empathy. It means I care about liberation, not just for myself, but for everyone, no matter where they live, from New York to Texas to Mexico to Palestine, right? So, this is the moment of reckoning. I'm going to end here. The abduction of Mahmoud Khalil is not just an attack on him, it's an attack on all of us. However, it's also an opportunity to unite, to demand a world where justice is not the privilege for the few, but the reality for all of us, right? Solidarity forever, free Palestine, free Mahmoud, and free us all from the chains of fear and oppression. Thank you.
Thank you, Audra. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one. An injury to all. An injury to one. An injury to all. An injury to one. one. Thank you very much. And where is Seth? Is he? I'm calling you out. So we have Seth Freeman of the Four Cs, President of the Four Cs. Come on up.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Brothers and sisters, I'm so happy to be out here with you today, standing in solidarity. So, hello everyone, my name is Seth Freeman. I'm a professor right down the street at Capital Community College. And current president of 4Cs SIU Local 1973. So let me just start by saying today that my statement today is my own statement, not on behalf of our union, although I'm proud that our union, 4Cs, was one of our labor unions in the state that called for a ceasefire early in this conflict. But the words today will be, just my own. So today we stand here together with people of conscience from all across the country to call for an end to U.S. aid to Israel. Today we stand with the global community calling for an end to Israeli occupation of Palestine and an end to the Israeli apartheid state. Today we call for an end to U.S. imperialism and for a just transition away from a war economy. And of course today we stand for the immediate release of Khalil. So brothers and sisters, we are here today for so many righteous reasons. We're here today because for over 75 years, our government has supported the settler colonial Israeli government in occupying Palestinian land for over 75 years. And we're here because for the past 16 months, our government has funded a genocide. We're here because the American people say no to genocide. Students across our colleges have courageously led this fight back, and in response have been brutalized and criminalized by our government. This criminalization and crackdown started with... Should I scrap it?
Let me just make sure it's consistent in front of your neck. Yeah.
So this criminalization and crackdown started under Biden. Yep. And now Trump is here to finish the job. Yep. So as a college professor, I can only describe this crackdown of free speech on our colleges and universities as an attack on education and an attack on democracy itself. An attack that exposes the complete and the disgusting hypocrisy of our political and ruling class. We all understand that Trump is simply a blunt instrument for the corporate and fascist state. Trump is slashing federal spending on social programs for working class families so he can provide tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. That's the Trump agenda. Trump is also demonizing and criminalizing immigrant communities and religious minorities to directly serve the Christian white nationalist agenda. So brothers and sisters, we're here to say no to all of this bullshit.
That's right.
We are here today to defend free speech, defend the right to protest, and call out both the Democrats and the Republicans for their hypocrisy and their criminality. We're here to tell the truth that U.S. imperialism is destroying all of us. We know from our movement leaders that U.S. imperialism has always been a tool of capitalism and of white supremacy to dominate and subjugate people here in this country and all over the world. Now the global South is rising to fight American and Western hegemony, and the corporate and ruling class has nowhere to turn but to all of us in this country. So now Trump put Elon in charge to slash public services and plunder middle and working class families. Again, brothers and sisters, we're not standing for any of this bullshit. We're here to fight. We're here to fight and we're here to win. So it's time all of us, poor, working class, and middle class families, put our differences aside and focus on our common enemy. Our common enemy, the capitalists, the corporatists, and the sellout politicians who would rob every one of us if they had the chance. Let's organize, let's organize, let's organize. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for standing in solidarity. One more time, end U.S. support for Israel, just transition away from a war economy, and free Palestine.
Free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, Free Palestine!
Thank you, Seth. Is Laith here?
Come on up, Laith.
Thank you all for coming here today. Thank you all for feeling our pain and touching our suffering. Thank you all for being Palestinian. Silent is not okay. Silent is a complicity. I would like to quote the words of Martin Niemöller, who lived through the fascism rise in Germany in 1930. He says, "First they came for the communists. I did not speak out because I was not a communist. When they came for the socialists, I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. When they came for the trade unionists, I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. When they came for the Jews, I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. When they came for me, there was no one left to speak out." The attack in Muhammad is not an attack on free speech. It's not an attack. It's not an attack on free speech. It's an attack on civil rights and the breach of the social contract. It will start here, and they will keep testing the limit, and they will keep attacking more people, and every time the limit will increase, will change, until nobody is left. It's time to move, it's time to stand up, it's time to stand up for each other.
Yes. Yes.
I heard that power concede nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. We are the people, and our demand shall be heard. It was called Palestine, it is still called Palestine, and it will be a free Palestine. I don't know how they can weaponize a statement like, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. For me, it means when you come to a liberated Palestine, you will see the most hospitable people living free in their country, not imprisoned in their own lands. This is what it means. How can this statement hurt anyone? This is what we are fighting for. Long live Palestine!
Thank you, Laith. Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Sean, can you finish us off? We got Sean from the Hartford Federation of Teachers coming out.
I didn't know I was going last. Wow. All right, so I'm going to do my best not to repeat a lot of the points that the other brilliant speakers have made. I'm a member of Connecticut Labor for Palestine, a member of the Hartford Federation of Teachers, and a member of Workers' Voice. And the demand that comes out of that environmental movement was originally a demand to say that we deserve an industry that creates rather than destroys. The people of Palestine need an industry that creates rather than destroys. The people of the United States need an industry that creates rather than destroys. In both places, the working class need good union jobs that pay a living wage and allow people the dignity of their work and their conscience. That's not what we have. Now, Just Transition is primarily talking about the war economy, transitioning away from factories which produce bombs to factories which produce things like green energy. But I want to think about it too in a different context. I got myself thinking about this today. I think we need a just transition for our schools too. Because what we've clearly seen is that our students and our teachers and our professors and all of the staff and everyone involved in making a school run and work is not, in reality, free or safe from repression. And the people who run those institutions, they will cowardly sit in their office and mind their own business while a student leader is disappeared from their student housing and sent to another state, not because it's what's most efficient, but because it's what will cause the most stress and harm to his 8 months pregnant wife.
Shame! Shame!
Now, my beautiful wife is also pregnant, and that pisses me the hell off. Because what that stress will do, it could cause her to have a miscarriage. Now, just like Israel, DHS is on purpose trying to kill a child who this couple has freely chosen to conceive and bring into this world. They're trying to destroy one of the happiest moments of their life. That is what Palestinians suffer daily. And we must keep that at the front of our minds. Now, how do we get a just transition for our schools? We need schools, much like workplaces, that are democratically run by the people who make them run. We must have universities and factories which produce what the people who are there need and feel and know in their life and in their bones is what should be done. The students should be able to come to me and say, Mr. Phillips, I'm interested in this topic. I would like to take this class. And we should be able to have a vote on that and work together to make a curriculum and figure things out. Just like workers should be able to come together and say, hey, I don't think it's a good idea that we make things that go overseas to kill children.
Right.
How about we make something to light my neighborhood up? Make no mistake that this is the world that the Palestinians are fighting for, because every single movement of the Palestinian movement, every single move it makes, is a test of the shackles of imperialism, but also capitalism. Because our global hegemon right here at home, and the other competing imperial powers that like to fight with it, they will support Israel as long as it's beneficial to their bottom line. And the struggle to free Palestine is a struggle against all of the oppressions that exist in our society. Palestine has become the testing ground for all of the repression that we face as people. Much like Frantz Fanon talks about, and Amy Césaire and others, the methods of repression in the colonial world, they come home. And so that, beyond just the fact that, like Audra, I believe, said, it is human to do so, or Stan maybe, who said that. These are the reasons why the fight for Palestine is the fight of all working people across the world. And it is our duty to be out here and fight for them. And so, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna say, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Thank you.
Not another dime! No more money for Israel's crimes! Not another nickel!
Not another dime! No more money for Israel's crimes! Free Khalil! Free, free Khalil! 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 Folks, thanks so much for coming out. This is just a modest contribution to the growing movement across this country and around the world against these attacks. Once again, Sunday, 11 a.m., 4 Cs, 907 Wethersfield Avenue.